The dress tightened around my waist, not in a "this is a little snug" kind of way, but like a boa constrictor making its final move. I remember the fabric, this deep, almost liquid black, suddenly alive. The threads seemed to pulse, tiny veins of red shimmering under the dim light of my room. It felt like the dress was molding itself to my body, becoming a second skin, one I hadn't asked for. I tried to pull it away, my fingers scrabbling at the seams, but it wouldn't budge. It was like trying to peel my own skin off. My heart hammered against my ribs, a frantic drumbeat against the constricting fabric. Then, I heard it, a sound that chilled me to the bone, breathing, a slow, deep, rhythmic inhale and exhale. It wasn't my breath. Mine was coming in short, panicked gasps. This was something else, something ancient and patient. I held my own breath, straining to listen, praying it was just my imagination, the house settling, anything. But it was undeniable. The sound was coming from the dress itself. I looked down, and in the slivers of moonlight cutting through my blinds, I saw the impossible. The fabric over my chest was rising and falling, a gentle, horrifying rhythm, like a pair of sleeping lungs. The room was dark, but the dress seemed to swallow the light, creating its own pocket of absolute blackness. I was trapped, wearing something that was alive. My mind raced, trying to find a rational explanation. A trick of the light, a hallucination brought on by panic. But the feeling of it, the undeniable presence wrapped around me, was too real. The breathing continued, steady and calm, a stark contrast to the storm raging inside me. It was as if whatever was in this dress was savoring the moment, enjoying my terror. I felt a cold sweat break out across my forehead, my whole body trembling. I had to get it off. I clawed at the zipper on the back, my nails scraping uselessly against the cold metal. It was stuck fast, as if it had been fused shut. A strange thought surfaced through the panic. How did I even get this dress? I tried to remember, to trace back the steps that led me to this moment. Fragments of memory flickered a small, dusty antique shop I'd never seen before, tucked away on a side street I rarely walked down. The shopkeeper, a woman with eyes that seemed too old for her face, had smiled a knowing, almost predatory smile when I'd picked it up. She'd said something, her voice a dry rustle. "It chooses its wearer." At the time, I thought it was just a quirky sales pitch. Now, those words echoed in my head like a death sentence. It hadn't been a sales pitch, it had been a warning. The breathing deepened, growing louder, filling the silence of my room. It felt like the dress was drawing strength from my fear, feeding on it. The pressure around my waist intensified, and I gasped, feeling the air being squeezed from my lungs. I stumbled towards the full-length mirror leaning against my wall, my reflection a pale, terrified stranger. I needed to see what was happening, to confront this nightmare. My reflection stared back, eyes wide with a terror that mirrored my own. But as I watched, something began to change. Slowly, almost imperceptibly at first, my reflection's expression shifted. The panic in its eyes was replaced by a calm, unsettling serenity. And then, it smiled. It wasn't my smile. It was wide, unnatural, stretching the corners of the mouth too far, a ghastly, triumphant grin. My heart stopped. I wasn't smiling. My own lips were trembling, pressed into a thin line of horror. But the person in the mirror, the person wearing my face, was radiant with a malevolent joy. And then, letters began to form on the surface of the mirror, glowing with a faint, blood-red light. They weren't written on the glass. They seemed to emerge from within it, like words written in fire underwater. The letters arranged themselves, spelling out a message, a command. "Now wear me forever." My blood ran cold. The reflection's smile widened even further. A silent, mocking laugh. I tried to scream, to tear myself away from the horrifying tableau, but my body wouldn't obey. I was a puppet, and the dress was the puppet master. The thing in the mirror raised a hand, and my own hand lifted in perfect synchrony. It wasn't me anymore. I was just a passenger in my own body, a prisoner in my own skin, encased in this beautiful, terrible dress. And as I stared into the eyes of the smiling stranger in the mirror, I knew the shopkeeper was right. The dress had chosen, and it would never let me go. Thanks for watching. If you want more stories like this, make sure to like and subscribe.